faithfully delivering value, interpreting the world's great books. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today I'll interpret The Communication of Love for you. This book explores psychological states and communication methods in intimate relationships between partners. Before we begin, I'd like you to imagine this scenario. A couple returns from work. The man lies on the sofa playing games to relax.
He's extremely frustrated after being docked pay for arriving 5 minutes late.
The upset woman tells him.
My day was awful. I was only 5 minutes late.
While gaming, the man recalls her taking nearly 30 minutes to dress and do makeup that morning. He identifies this as the problem and says, "If you didn't fuss so long getting ready, you wouldn't be late."
The woman responds angrily. Why don't you care about me at all? The man retorts, how is this uncaring? I'm helping you find the cause. She grows angrier. Care? What do you care about?
All you ever do is play games. Confused, the man thinks, weren't we discussing lateness? As he tries to explain the tangent about gaming, she slams the bedroom door. Who do you think bears responsibility here? Have you experienced similar communication breakdowns with your partner? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Author John Gottman, renowned psychologist, believes such miscommunications stem from differing needs. Women seek emotional support through talk. Men focus on solving problems. Gottman is globally recognized as the foremost expert on relationships, hailed as the marriage pope. After 40-plus years studying relationships, he and psychologist wife Julie established the Love Lab at UW in 1986, creating simulated apartments where couples lived while being observed. They recorded participants' every interaction. Later, couples reviewed footage to explain their emotions and interpret their partner's feelings. Gottman conducted follow-up interviews 1 to 3 years later to assess relationship outcomes.
Over 40 years, Gottman observed over 3,000 couples in the Love Lab, gathering extensive data on intimate relationships.
Based on this research, he authored a series of books on relationships, like The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, What Makes Love Last, and 8 Dates. The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work became a global bestseller. It topped the New York Times bestseller list, and Sally's Book Talk has also covered it. He also systematized the research into the Gottman Method couples therapy and founded the Gottman Institute, providing counseling and therapy to help troubled couples improve their relationships. And so, thus, he's known as the most influential psychotherapist of the 20th century and a 4-time recipient of the NIMH Research Scientist Award. The Communication of Love is another book in his relationship series. In this book, he focuses on communication, systematically analyzing women's unique perspectives to help men understand what women want, offering practical advice for building long-term, successful relationships. And although subtitled A Man's Guide to Scientific Dating, it's equally suitable for women to read. Because communication is two-way, this book helps women better understand their own emotions, clarify their thoughts, and communicate more effectively with men. Today, I'll interpret the book through 3 stages of a couple's journey: meeting, getting to know each other, and committing. First, let's look at the meeting stage. We'll imagine a scenario. Suppose you're a single man. A friend sets you up with a nice girl for a date tomorrow night. So, what should you do to make a good impression on her? Should you constantly try to make her laugh during the date? Or mix in some cheesy pickup lines, rush to get a haircut today, or rehearse your achievements to tell her? If you choose that approach, I can responsibly tell you, your meeting will likely go poorly. Because Gottman found that happy couples recall mostly positive first impressions, unrelated to good looks or corny jokes. Only genuine interest in understanding the other person while letting them feel your sincerity can create a positive first impression. And so what's the right approach? The author's advice boils down to 2 points. First, presenting yourself authentically. Second, understanding women's signals. What does presenting yourself authentically mean? First, show confidence, like smiling while maintaining eye contact. Fidgeting nervously or restlessly makes you appear less confident. Discuss your passions. collections, sports, or travel stories with loved ones. The more at ease you appear, the more confident and attractive you become. The author stresses showing confidence, not arrogance. Bragging about status symbols like fancy cars isn't confidence, it's arrogance. This stems from fearing you're unappealing without extras. True confidence comes from self-assurance. Arrogance actually masks insecurity, but confidence alone isn't enough. You must also read her interest signals to confirm attraction. If she keeps talking to friends or gives only polite, surface-level responses without eye contact, or if she yawns, leans back, or turns away while you're speaking, recognize these as signs she's uninterested. Psychologists observing 200 single women identified 52 attraction behaviors. For example, meeting your gaze while playing with hair or earrings, or briefly looking away before glancing back. Some turn their body toward you and listen intently during conversation. These subconscious signals, often unnoticed by her, mean you can confidently approach and ask her out. When she accepts your date invitation, prepare seriously, but what exactly?
The author offers men two key strategies. First, always remember to authentically be yourself. The goal of dating is to find someone genuinely interested in you, not just the persona you present.
Second, make her the focus. Ask open-ended questions instead of talking about yourself. Conversation is an art. The essence of this art is placing the other person center stage. For instance, what do you do for work? If she says she's a doctor, follow with, that must be demanding. What inspired you to pursue medicine? She might say, my parents influenced me, allowing you to ask, so what truly interests you? The author notes, many women appear less confident during first conversations. Give her time, encourage sharing without rushing or interrupting. Authentic interest creates positive impressions. When dating succeeds, mutual attraction blooms. Constant thoughts, euphoric highs from hormones. This psychological phase is called limerence. The author cautions, enjoy this love, but don't declare them the one or impulsively marry. Passion overrides rational thought, clouding judgment. Pause to reflect on key questions before deepening the relationship. Questions like, who are they truly? Do you understand their core? How do you feel around them? Is it comfortable? You might wonder how to evaluate such abstract concepts. Focus on these 4 aspects. First, is he kind? Observe how he handles conflicts, takes responsibility or blames others. After confessions, does he keep secrets or gossip? If he constantly complains about family and friends, he'll treat you the same way eventually. If he doesn't value trust from loved ones, he won't value yours either. Second, does he trust you? How can you tell? Observe if he claims to trust you while checking your phone or interrogating your whereabouts. Does he secretly search your drawers, inspect emails, or question every opposite gender friend? How does he treat your friends? Can he accept them? Or does he find flaws in every friend and demand you cut ties? Third, the author warns against perpetual victims and controllers. For example, always playing victim, claiming betrayal by friends, exes, or family. While everyone has painful pasts, is his narrative purely tragic with no joy?
If so, be extra vigilant.
Initially, he'll cast you as his savior, but you'll likely become his next villain. Does he excessively emphasize successes in daily life, constantly boasting achievements, needing to dominate every situation? Stay alert with such competitive individuals. Competitiveness stems from control. He'll want to control everyone, including you, making life exhausting. Finally, most crucially, how do you feel together? Are your emotional expression styles compatible? If you grew up in an unaffectionate family while he craves intimacy, this will cause future conflicts. Recall, with him, do you laugh freely like you're home? Does thinking of him energize and delight you? If yes, he's likely your perfect match, naturally progressing to deeper understanding. This leads to part 2 of our discussion today. As limerence fades, your first fight will come soon, followed by second, third, regardless of the argument's specifics. The author states women's anger stems from 3 core feelings: helplessness, unfair treatment, and perceived irresponsibility. For example, she wants conversation, while he prefers gaming or watching sports. This makes her furious because it triggers helplessness. Another scenario, he buys a car without consulting her, dismissing her input. She feels unfairly treated as an unequal partner, fueling anger. Or when he promises to wash dishes but keeps gaming, or agrees to clean the shower but goes straight to bed. She sees this as irresponsible neglect, sparking rage. People often claim women are overly emotional and quick-tempered. But a psychology study of 1,300 men revealed no gender difference in anger frequency. Men get angry just as often. The Love Lab uncovered two secrets. First, men aren't calmer during conflict. They're more easily emotionally overwhelmed. Second, both genders resort to criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling when emotions spiral. What does this mean? Let's revisit our opening example for clarity. Recall, he wants to game after work. She needs to vent about being penalized for lateness. Though wanting to care, his exhaustion makes him distracted.
She protests, "You're not listening!"
He perceives this as criticism, responds with silent stonewalling to end the conversation. Alternatively, he might defensively claim, "I am listening," while still gaming. If he says, "You're always so disorganized," that's criticism.
If he snaps, "Stop nagging about trivial things like a shrew," that's content.
Does this dialogue sound familiar? You might experience this after such exchanges, arguments spiral uncontrollably. The author calls these the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Once unleashed, conflicts escalate into dangerous stalemates. So how to avoid arguments?
How to quell the battle?
First, understand what men and women truly desire.
Women simply want trust.
A trustworthy partner offers support during hardships, listens deeply, understands emotions, and protects their heart. They need deep emotional connection and intimacy. Subconsciously, women constantly ask, "Am I safe?
Will he help me when I struggle?
Is he dependable? Is he trustworthy?" What about men? Love Lab data reveals men want fewer arguments and more physical intimacy. Different thought processes create distinct emotional needs. These differences emerge in childhood. How do 8-year-old boys play? A dozen boys play catch. Brian cries sidelines after failing to get the ball. The leader asks Brian why he's crying. Brian explains, "I never get it." The leader declares, "Brian gets the ball this time." Brian, catch, let's go. Then play resumes. Boys prioritize continuing play, solve the problem, resolve the emotion. Girls differ completely. During hopscotch, Kathy suddenly cries. Lisa asks why. Kathy says Lisa hurt her feelings by rejecting matching hair clips despite being best friends. Well, Kathy sobs. She just wants to be best friends. They sit recalling shared memories and plan a sleepover. They were busy planning fun games for the evening, completely forgetting about hopscotch. Hopscotch was just the backdrop for their interaction. The game itself wasn't important. Emotions connected them more deeply, creating conflict. Men want to solve problems and eliminate negativity. Women seek emotional connection and support. The solution: address emotions first. Harmonize each other's feelings. First, ensure you're not overwhelmed by anger. Start by calming yourself. Take deep breaths. Count to 10 before speaking. If still upset, take a break. Remember, taking a break isn't running away. Say to your partner, "I'm struggling to listen now, so I'll sit downstairs for 30 minutes before we continue." This prevents them feeling abandoned. Once calm, how to harmonize their emotions. First, show attentiveness. When she complains, immediately turn off games or phone. Face her with eye contact. Don't ask what's wrong while lounging. Then, listen non-defensively. What is non-defensive listening? It counters defensiveness mentioned earlier. When criticized, don't argue. Let her finish without interrupting or judging. Avoid defensive responses like, "You always procrastinate," or "I was listening." They sabotage emotional harmony. Finally, express understanding and empathy. Understanding means intellectual validation. She says, "I got penalized for being 5 minutes late." He could respond, "That punishment is indeed harsh." Empathy means emotional validation. He might ask, "How are you feeling right now? Are you frustrated?" During emotional attunement, men shouldn't rush to solve problems, crack jokes, or distract her. Instead, ask, "What do you need? What worries you? How do you feel?" When a woman feels connected and not alone, the emotional processing part of her brain calms down. Then you can jointly discuss solutions or wait for her to calm down and devise a good approach herself. Some men might think, doesn't this mean I'm being insincere? Absolutely not. Emotional attunement doesn't require agreeing with everything she says. Men simply need to soothe intense emotions, lend an ear to her feelings, offer support, and show understanding and acceptance of her situation. When you've learned conflict resolution and decide to commit for life, you reach the third stage. This stage brings new obstacles. First obstacle: parenting is exhausting. Many men avoid childcare, causing women's anger and sadness. Some men feel neglected post-childbirth, competing for attention or even cheating.
The solution: men actively participate in parenting, easing mothers' burden while strengthening their bond.
Hundreds of studies confirm fathers' play styles boost children's intellectual and social development. Moms and dads parent in fundamentally different ways. In the Love Lab, when moms teach 18-month-olds about giraffes, they show pictures, then ask, "What's the tallest zoo animal?" Regardless of the child's interest or activity, moms patiently repeat lessons. Dads differ. They immediately switch activities if interest wanes. Similarly, teaching about giraffes, if dad notices the child focusing on a toy train instead, he'll abandon pictures to play trains. When he tires of trains, he switches games again. Research shows 2/3 of 2.5-year-olds prefer playing with dad over mom.
Kids find dad's games consistently fresh and more exciting.
Through constantly changing play styles, children learn crucial self-regulation skills. When men engage positively in parenting, women report higher marital satisfaction. Men also experience greater happiness in their relationships. The second obstacle is betrayal. First, understand. For most couples, betrayal isn't sudden. It's a slow erosion. It follows countless unexpressed needs and neglected emotional connections, like ignoring or pretending not to see their distress, or suppressing feelings to avoid conflict through silence. These small actions gradually push partners away. Preventing betrayal requires continuous emotional investment. The author outlines 3 strategies. First, nurture intimacy. Maintain closeness even after years of marriage and children. Kissing is powerful. Do it before work and bedtime. Make kisses last 6 seconds. Hormones boost bonding. Also maintain date nights, movies, candlelit dinners. Explore new places and activities together regularly, keeping romance alive. Second, prioritize communication. Keep learning about each other's thoughts even decades in. Discuss work, struggles, and triumphs like when you first met. Continuously explore each other's minds. Also express gratitude daily. Acknowledge specific small efforts. For example, "I loved the dinner you made, and your gentle tone on the phone today was wonderful." Thank you for consistently reading to our child. It's greatly boosted their language skills. To compliment and thank them through words and actions. Show you love and cherish them.
Third, honor women's dreams.
Many women sacrifice dreams for family, choosing full-time homemaking or flexible careers to prioritize caregiving. Yet their hearts still hold personal passions and pursuits. This hope fuels their resilience against life's pressures and disappointments. The author urges men to respect women's dreams and offer tangible support. When men understand their dreams, women feel deeply valued, strengthening the relationship and nurturing lasting love. We've covered the book's core concepts. Let's revisit love's 3 stages. Stage 1, meeting. Centered on confidence and sincerity. When pursuing someone, confidently present yourself while accurately reading her interest signals. On dates, remain authentic, listen actively, and keep her the conversation's focus. Both should assess kindness, trustworthiness, emotional compatibility, and comfort before progressing. Stage 2, deepening understanding, defined by trust. Women seek trust from men, cultivated through emotional attunement. During conflicts, focus fully on her. Listen without judgment to understand her perspective. Then empathize with her feelings. Stage 3, commitment, built on dedication and responsibility. Lifelong partners face obstacles like parenting challenges and betrayal risks. Men should engage actively in childcare while sustaining romance through kisses, dates, communication, gratitude, and supporting her dreams. To have a love that lasts a lifetime, you need not just that lightning strike attraction, but also the wisdom to solve life's daily challenges. After hearing this book, what new insights do you have about intimate relationships? Feel free to share your story in the comments. That concludes the communication of love. We'll end our interpretation of the book here. Find the listening notes below the audio. See you next time.